that which Christianity speaks of, I appreciate and value. Simply because something does not give me a greater understanding of the science of the universe, I don't see that that's somehow justification to no longer appreciate it or to no longer see the worth in understanding and knowing it.
So, sorry, is it my go? All right. I kind of want to backtrack this a little bit. I think we're a bit sidetracked because it's about the meaning of life, not about Jack's Christianity or whatever. And so my question is, why do we need an ultimate meaning? Every indication is that the universe itself is going to come to an end by some means. Everything that is here now on this planet is one day not going to be here anymore when the sun finally dies. So there doesn't really appear to be an ultimate or teleological, cause to everything. And sure, it's a little uncomfortable, and you sort of start to question, why do you do the things you do if ultimately everything's just going to,
Well, that's interesting, Sophia, and I just want to pick up on that point because it's something I was going to move on to. Is it unpleasant to think that there is no meaning? Is it an uncomfortable thought? Is that why people try and find a meaning?
Well, I think for myself as well, it's almost a little bit uncomfortable because when you actually think about it and that everything that you do right now is ultimately futile and doesn't really matter. I mean, I work in biology and I'm studying ichneumonids, the parasitoid wasp, and ultimately they're not going to exist anymore, and all of the knowledge I spend my life acquiring about them is going to be completely meaningless. And okay, so it's a little uncomfortable, but just because it's not comfortable doesn't mean it's not true.
You don't know that for certain, and if you never try, then it's a sort of self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, I'll hop in there. I think at first you have to ask the question of, is there an overall meaning to life? And second of all, if so, and you do believe that there is a meaning to life, what makes you think that yours would apply to everybody else? In other words, what if everybody has their own meaning for life? What if what makes my life purposeful? What if that which gives me fulfillment in my life isn't the same as for other people? So for you, the meaning of your life might be to have a relationship with your Creator. That's fine. But for me, it might just be to help other people and to experience happiness on the short time that I'm here and do those things which make me happy and help my fellow man. And to what Sophia was saying, I mean, I don't think that your work at all would be meaningless, just because in time it will amount to nothing, because you'll have greater understanding, and you will have, through your knowledge, contributed something, which has made other people's lives better. And if your meaning of life is to make other people, then you fulfill it by doing that what you're doing. So I actually disagree. My finiteness doesn't bother me in the least.
Jack, if you didn't believe in God, do you think you'd still find a meaning in life?
Well, this is interesting. Do you mind, I'm sorry, before getting to that question, if I respond to some of what Don has said, because I really appreciate Sophia's candidness, and to be honest, I find this oftentimes not really reflected in many of the atheists that I've talked with, and that is this sense of futility that seems to be the most consistent reflection of an atheist position, if indeed ultimately all of existence as we know it is going to come to an end. And if existence itself, as born from random mutations and natural selection over the course of billions of years, gave life to our existence, and it did so out of no sense of our existence.
I mean, I would just have to call bullshit straight there.
No, like, all that we do now, for Don to say, well, it's a benefit to the future. Okay, but what is the notion even of the future then? If our existence is nothing sort of but a blip on the radar screen, then what does this idea of even valuing the future, what is the purpose of that? If it's just simply to say, well, it's going to make us feel good, people are going to benefit from it in the future, but yeah, okay, but ultimately speaking though, nothing of our existence entails a sense of that having any worth whatsoever.
I'm going to go on, but I'm curious to know whether this, what almost sounds like a fear of futility, is actually what drives you to a sort of belief in an afterlife and a purpose. And then I'm going to go to Thunder.
Yeah, and do you want me to answer that, or you want to answer that? All I know is that if I was to be an atheist, which would never happen, because to me the existence of a creator, even before I was a Christian, was just a properly basic belief for me. To me, the most consistent reflection of that would be an awareness of a sort of the absurdity and futility of my life. That's not to say that I wouldn't find joy and pleasure out of life, because I certainly would, but there would be an underlying understanding that everything that I do and every moment that I live, ultimately there is no grand scheme of my existence or the existence of anyone else, despite the fact that I feel or would like for there to be so.
Thunder.
Jack, you've read the Bible, yeah? You know, there's this bit about after the flood, God puts a rainbow in the sky to say that he's never going to destroy the world again. Do you believe that? I'm going somewhere with this. I mean, let me just be frank here. You scroll the clock back 2,000 years, and that is religious dogma. And if it weren't for the inquiry, if it were true what you were saying, that there was no benefits from science, or not from science, from the basis of the scientific method, this logical positivism, that actually gains us knowledge, we would still be locked where we were 2,000 years ago, thinking that the rainbow is just some love letter from God saying he's never going to destroy the world again. Right?
Yeah, but the thing is, I haven't actually said that. As I've already said earlier, I find great value and significance in the pursuit of the scientific endeavor. So I don't understand why you.
But if what you were saying,
give this impression that I would say that there's no benefit.
Well, you have, because you said, what's the point of doing it in the long term if it's all going to be for nothing? It's self-evident that there is a worth in doing it, right? Me talking about the philosophical consequence of a position is not the same as me finding great worth and significance in the scientific endeavor now. Those are two separate things. No, what's the consequence of the other?
No, if I want to talk about the philosophy of existence and us getting to terms with, okay, is our existence, is there a purpose or significance or worth to what it is that we do as humans now, in the absence of there being some meaning that is transcendent to us? That's a philosophical. That doesn't negate what's going on now in the real world. I certainly feel, as a Christian, that there is great value, great significance in understanding existence itself, because I believe that in doing so, I come to a greater understanding and appreciation of life in light of there being a God.
Can I just bring Sophia back, because apparently there's something that she would like to clarify?
Yeah, I'd like to make it really clear that I'm not saying that people can't define their own purpose, and that in the short term, and I mean cosmological short term, that yeah, what people do on this planet can have a difference and make a difference and have meaning. But what I am getting at is that ultimately the universe is going to end. The Earth is going to be destroyed, or the Earth that we know it is going to be destroyed. So in the long term, and then in cosmological long term, there's not really any,
That's an awfully long extrapolation.
I don't think anyone's going to disagree with you on that subject. And excuse me, this is a point that I was sort of like, and I'm going to try and bring it back to it. There is a futility, and I'm sure Jack will agree. Excuse me. That the Earth, as we know it, is going to end. The Sun obviously has a limited lifespan, and in that regard, there is a futility. And this is the point I was trying to make: is that fear of futility something that drives a desire to believe in an afterlife and a God and so forth?